ఈ స్లైడ్లో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి, ఒక 1 minute స్టార్ట్ చేసేస్తాను. చెప్పండి పవన్.
సార్ ఐడెంటిఫికేషన్ ఆఫ్ విట్నెస్ అంటే ఏం సార్?
ఐడెంటిఫికేషన్ మీకు ఒక్క ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. ఎవరు అడిగారు? వీరేష్ అడిగారు కదా.
ఎస్ సార్.
ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. మీ సైట్లో మీరే ఒక సైట్లో ఉన్నారు. మీకు వచ్చే చాలా పెద్ద సైట్ ఉంది. ఆ సైట్లో ఒక యాక్సిడెంట్ అయింది. యాక్సిడెంట్ అయిన లొకేషన్లో మీరు లేరు. ఆ టైంలో సూపర్వైజర్ కూడా లేరు, వర్కర్లే వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారు జస్ట్. అప్పుడు యాక్సిడెంట్ అయింది. మీరు ఫస్ట్ మీరు చూడలేదు, సూపర్వైజర్ చూడలేదు, ఫోర్మెన్ చూడలేదు, వర్కర్లే ఉన్నారు. అప్పుడు మీరు ఫస్ట్ వెళ్ళి అక్కడ ఏం జరిగిందని ఎవరిని కనుక్కుంటారు?
అక్కడ ఉండేవారినే సార్.
అక్కడ ఎవరు చూశారు ఏంటి అన్నది కనుక్కుంటారు కదా. ఎవడు ఫుల్ ఫ్లెడ్జ్డ్గా చూశాడు ఏంటి అన్నది. అవునా? వాడే విట్నెస్. వాడిని మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేయాలి ప్రాపర్గా. ఆ యాక్సిడెంట్ని ఫుల్ ఫ్లెడ్జ్డ్గా ఎవరు చూశారు అన్నదాన్ని
మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేయాలన్నమాట. ఎందుకంటే ఇంజూర్డ్ పర్సన్ వాడి ఇష్టం వచ్చిన దాంట్లో చెప్తాడు వాడు తప్పించుకోవడానికి. అర్థమైందా? సూపర్వైజర్ ఫోర్మెన్లు కూడా కొంతమంది తప్పించుకోవడానికి చూస్తారు. అలాంటి టైంలో ప్రాపర్ విట్నెస్ ని మనం ఐడెంటిఫై చేయాలి. ఆడు జనరల్గా అసలు ఏం జరిగింది అని చెప్పి ఆ సిచ్యువేషన్ లో యాక్సిడెంట్ ఎలా జరిగింది, ఏం జరిగింది అని తెలుసుకోవడానికి అన్నమాట. ఆ క్యాండిడేటే విట్నెస్. మనకి వాడిని మనం పర్ఫెక్ట్గా ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకోవాలి ఫస్ట్. ఎందుకంటే యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్లో వాడు ఇది కూడా తీసుకోవాలన్నమాట. రికార్డెడ్ స్టేట్మెంట్, రిటర్న్ స్టేట్మెంట్ వాడి దగ్గర నుంచి తీసుకోవాలి. అసలు ఏం జరిగింది ఏంటి అని. అది కూడా ఒక డాక్యుమెంట్ ప్రూఫ్ అన్నమాట. అది ఇంకా ఎవరికైనా డౌట్ ఉందా ఏమన్నా? స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుందామా నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ నుంచి?
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్. ప్రిపరేషన్ బిఫోర్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్. After any accident, what will be the preparation before starting an investigation? What major things, what points to be considered? We have to be well prepared, because before starting an investigation we have to consider so many things like documentation we have to check, and the team should be prepared. Investigation team, not like a 1 person or 2 person, because the team should be like 5 or 6 persons. That includes not only safety from the execution team, the management side, everyone. Even sometimes client, or might be from, if client prefers to do some their personal investigation, that's okay. But from our side we should consider some points like team, who will be the investigation team, what has to be done, and everything. In those, the first point is who should be involved and depth of investigation based on the accident, whatever it might be, major, minor, or something. In that, if it's minor, the people will be less, like the safety person, the concerned area safety person
and the in charge or the general safety practitioner or someone will be there to guide regarding health and safety rules and regulations, and the supervisor will be there because he has to guide us regarding the activities and everything. In this case, we'll be involving some people like who should be involved in the investigation thing, so that it's a combination of safety department, execution department, even from the workforce also. Okay, and depth of the investigation will be based on the type of accident. Accident seen untouched. Immediately after the, as I have said in the previous slide itself, immediately after the accident has happened, the area should be isolated. Isolated is nothing but that should be barricaded and no one should enter. Just for this, any any witness or any clues can be vanished from there. It might lead to a prolonged, or it might lead to an misguidance for this investigation and everything. Collate relevant existing documents. Collate means nothing but all the existing documents regarding the work related, the safety related documents, whether the permit has been raised or not, whether the supporting documents for the permit are there or not, whether toolbox meeting has been conducted or not before starting the activity, and each and everything. So, all the documents, relevant existing documents should be prepared and should be kept in one club, shall be given to the investigation team. And identifying who are witnesses before the investigation starts itself, as I have said just before now, witnesses, who is the exact guy who can give a general and clear information about the accident or incident. He shouldn't divert the scene, the whole scene, what has happened, because it is a common practice from the worker side as well as from the execution side. They try to divert the whole accident, and they'll sometimes, if the worker has, for example, I'll tell you, if the worker has done an unsafe work also, they will be misguiding us in the investigation, like we have not done any unsafe work. The tools have the tools or the material are the damaged material, because of that this accident has happened. They will misguide us. Because of that, we have to identify the witness who can give a clear and exact information. Have legal requirements been met? Before the accident itself, we have to check this one also. The legal requirements are being met or not. Any equipment needed. Any equipments like safety harness, or it might be any equipment. 1 minute. Sorry, guys. We have to identify the witnesses, and we'll be taking him with the while we are investigating also, and we have to check whether the legal requirements have been met or not. That means the work while accident has happened or after the accident, before, it might be before or while performing any activity, while performing the activity based on the legal requirements, they have performed or not. These legal requirements has been met or not, we have to check. Or any equipment is needed, because see, in some situations all the accidents won't be happening on the ground level itself. Sometimes some accidents may happen in the work at height locations. In those conditions, we should have some safety harnesses or some other fall arresters or something else. Like that, we'll be having some equipments, and we have to be well prepared before the investigation starts itself. What are the equipments needed for that, and methods to be adopted. What type of investigation? In investigation, some methods will be there, and some checklist also will be there, and document writings will be there, and those type of methods to be adopted. But what type of method will be adopted to identify the proper and perfect exact root cause? Just these methods will be used to identify the exact root cause for this accident. And style of report and who should receive it. And report making. Report making before the investigation starts itself, we have to identify to whom the report has to be sent. Like if we are working for a subcontractor, we have to uh, report it to the EPC contractor, client, and if the report has to be sent to the government officials, these things we have to note it down. All these points has to be noted down, and after that we can start preparation for this investigation. Any doubts?
Sir, collateral existing documents అంటే ఏంటి సార్?
ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ అంటే మీకు సైట్ లో ఏ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ ఉంటాయో వేరియస్ లొకేషన్స్ లో, అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఒక వర్క్ రిలేటెడ్ లో ఉండే డాక్యుమెంట్స్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద వర్క్ రిలేటెడ్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ వోంట్ బి in the site itself. Some documents will be in the office also, some documents will be in the site, some documents will be with the foreman, like procedures. Procedure will be with the supervisor or the foreman, and permit will be with the authorized guy, and the risk assessment will, sometimes the risk assessment will be available in the office, and sometimes it will be attached with the permit only. These type of collate means we should combine, we should bring all these documents, all these existing documents into a one place, so that we can proceed. At the time of investigation, if we are running behind all these documents, it's a clumsy thing, right? It's a prolonged time, it's a delay in the investigation. That's that is the thing for this relevant existing documents. ఇంకేమన్నా ఉందా? ఇదేనా కొలేట్ అంటే? అదే మన డాక్యుమెంట్స్ కొన్ని ఆఫీసులో ఉంటాయి, ప్రొసీజర్స్ ఆఫీసులో ఉంటాయి, ఇవన్నీ ఒక దగ్గర తీసుకురావాలి. డాక్యుమెంట్స్ అన్ని ఒక దగ్గర తీసుకొస్తేనే మనకి ఇది ఉంటుంది అనమాట. లేదు అని అంటే ఆ టైంలో ఆ డాక్యుమెంట్ ఎక్కడ అని అంటే మళ్ళీ ఆఫీస్కి పరిగెట్టి తీసుకురావడం, ఇవంతా ఏంటంటే టైం వేస్ట్ థింగ్ అనమాట అంతా. అది ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా దీంట్లో? నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్కి వెళ్తున్నాం. యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ టీమ్. ముందు స్లైడ్ లో మనం దీంట్లో చెప్పుకున్నట్టు హూ షుడ్ బి ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ లో మనకి ఇది ఉండాలన్నమాట. యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ టీమ్ లో మనం ఎవరెవరిని ఇన్వాల్వ్ చేయాలి. ఇప్పుడు ఎల్టిఐ కానీ, సారీ, సపోజ్ ద యాక్సిడెంట్ ఈజ్ అన్, ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ అ మైనర్, will be having engineer or department manager and safety representative, safety practitioner, and supervisor. Sometimes the manager won't be available, the supervisor, work supervisor, and the work engineer, the same team engineer will be there to guide us. But in major accident, even the project manager has to involve in the investigation team, and he should be available and at the time of investigation. It might be in site or in the office. Sometimes some investigation meeting will be going on in the office also. Uh, at that time, he should be, at all times he should be available. Like that, in the investigation team, line manager should be there. Line manager will be useful to give the knowledge of the process, and supervisor should also be there. He will also give the exact process, knowledge of the process. Safety representative, the safety representative is nothing but he might be engineer, safety engineer, or an the exact location safety officer or safety manager. He will be there. He has a legal right to stay there because he is working in the project. But safety practitioner is nothing but he is also a safety guy, but he is a representative from the management side. Like some of the safety managers or some of the safety team leaders from the head office, they will be coming for the investigation. The safety personnel will be the practitioner. He will guide on the company's procedures, health and safety regulations, and everything. And engineer is nothing but the work crew, uh, the engineer's work crew who is working on, who has involved in the accident. That engineer is also should be involved so that he will guide us and advise us on the technical matters and everything. And senior manager from different department or from the same department, he will be also available in case of any property damage or something else. He will be available. Why? He will guide us. This is the investigation team. Sometimes project manager will also be involved. Most of the times, if it's a major or accident, project manager should be available. He should know what exact has happened over there. Major accident is like LTA or fatality. Okay. Equipments. As we have spoke about the equipments required for the investigation. Camera to take a proof for the proofs and everything. We have to will anyhow in nowadays everyone is carrying the camera phones. That camera is enough, but most of the time we'll be carrying small cameras for taking the pictures. All sides will be covering the 360 degrees of the incident or the accident location, so that we'll be having a clarity regarding that one. And writing materials is nothing but the written documents. All the written documents, it might be procedures, risk assessment, permits, JSA, uh, the toolbox stock, or it might be STA, safety task assessment, or something like that. What are the written materials are there? Those should be available. Investigation forms. Investigation, at the time of investigation, will be having some written proof forms will be there, on what basis will be doing the investigation, and witness forms will be there. In that we'll be taking a written document from the witness and the injured person as well, what has happened exactly. They has to describe everything in written. Verbal proof won't be. Verbal proof or video proof is not a proof at the time of investigation. Written proof is the only documented proof that should be available. Measuring tape in some types of like falling from heights or something like that, we'll be using or some blowers in mechanical areas, like pressurized bloats will be there. Those types of accidents will be, we have to use some measuring tapes or something to just calculate the length and area. That is. And area plan is nothing but the accident location plan should be there, so that the new persons who will be coming in for the investigation, they'll be having some overview of the area plan. And protective equipment, as I said earlier, if anything, any personal protective equipment should be needed while entering into the accident location, those protective equipment should be there. And general company checklist. At the time of accident, every company will be having a checklist file folder. In that, safety department will be having each and every checklist. Like that, we'll be having investigation checklist, like accident investigation or incident investigation checklist. Based on that checklist, like we have seen in this one, the methods to be adopted. In this one, based on the sometimes we will be going beyond the checklist. Sometimes we will be missing some points within the checklist also. This will guide us, and this is one of the way the company is following to identify the root cause and everything. Okay, any doubts in this one?
Nothing, sir.
చెక్ అంటే ఒకసారి చెప్పండి సార్. చెక్ లిస్ట్ సార్.
చెక్ లిస్ట్ అంటే ఏం లేదండి, ప్రతి కంపెనీకి వేరియస్ చెక్ లిస్ట్ ఉంటాయి, అన్ని చెక్ లిస్టులు ఉంటాయి కంపెనీలో. సేఫ్టీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ దగ్గర అన్ని చెక్ లిస్టులు ఉంటాయి అన్నమాట. దాంట్లో ఇన్స్పెక్షన్ చెక్ లిస్టులు ఉంటాయి, తర్వాత వర్క్ పర్మిట్ చెక్ లిస్టులు ఉంటాయి, ఏరియా చెక్ లిస్టులు ఉంటాయి. అలాగే యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ కూడా సేఫ్టీ డిపార్ట్మెంట్ దగ్గర ఓ చెక్ లిస్ట్ ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. ఇప్పుడు మీకు యాక్సిడెంట్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ అంటే మీకు ఏటేట్ చేయాలో వెంటనే అన్ని ఐడియా రావు. కొంతమంది ఏంటంటే కంపెనీ టు కంపెనీ చెక్ లిస్ట్ మెయింటైన్ చేసుకుంటాయి, ఆ ప్రొసీజర్ లో ఫాలో అవుతాయి. ఇవన్నీ మనకు కావాలి రూట్ కాజ్ ఫైనలైజ్ చేసుకోవడానికి, ద ఎగ్జాక్ట్ రూట్ కాజ్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయడానికి. మనం కంపెనీ ఈజీ మెథడ్స్, ఇక్కడ ముందు దాంట్లో మనం స్లైడ్ లో చూసాం కదా, ఇది మెథడ్స్. ఆ మెథడ్స్ ఎలాగ అడాప్ట్ చేసుకుంటాం అంటే చెక్ లిస్ట్ ద్వారా అన్నమాట. కొన్ని ఈజీగా ఉంటాయి, కొన్ని చెక్ లిస్టులు హార్డ్గా ఉంటాయి. కానీ ఫైనల్ అవుట్పుట్ ఎలా ఉండాలంటే మనకి 100% యాక్యురేట్ రూట్ కాజ్ రావాలన్నమాట. అలాగా మనం చెక్ లిస్ట్ ద్వారా కూడా మనం ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ చేసుకుంటాం. దాంట్లో దోస్ చెక్ లిస్ట్ విల్ బి కన్సిస్టింగ్ ఆఫ్ టైం 1 minute. సారీ, చెక్ లిస్టులు అదే ఒక మెథడ్ ఉంటుంది, ప్రతి కంపెనీ ఫాలో అయ్యే మెథడ్. అన్ని పాయింట్స్ మనం గుర్తు పెట్టుకోలేం చెక్ లిస్ట్లో. అందుకు చెక్ లిస్ట్ ఫాలో అవుతున్నప్పుడు మనకి ఈజీగా ఉంటుంది అన్నమాట. అది అందుకే చెక్ లిస్ట్ అవి అని అంటారు. వాటితో పాటు ఈ డాక్యుమెంటెడ్ ప్రూఫ్స్ అన్నీ ఉన్నాయో లేవో కూడా మనం చెక్ చేసుకుంటాం. అది ఎవరు అడిగారు? వీరేష్ అడిగారు కదా, రవి. ఓకే, క్లియర్ అయిందా డౌట్? ఇంకేమన్నా ఉందా?
ఓకే సార్.
ఇంకెవరికన్నా? ఎక్విప్మెంట్స్ రిక్వైర్డ్ మీద ఇంకెవరికన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? ఓకే. 4 steps to investigation. First one, gather the information. Gather the information is nothing but when, where, how, who, everything. 5 W's. When, where, why, what, how, everything, which 5 W's and 1 H. Everywhere you can use this 5 W's and 1 H. It's nothing but when where the incident has happened, when it happened, how it happened, why it happened, what time it happened, everything like that. You can question when, where, how, everything. This is the nothing but just to gather the information. And after gathering the information, we have to analyze the information. Like I have said you, what happened, why it happened, everything. We have to analyze. After gathering the information, we have to analyze the information. And after that, identify the risk control measures, possible solutions to be identified. After this, identify the risk control measures will be used after the investigation has been happened, because we have to inculcate, we have to add the extra risk control measures. But we have to, after the investigation, we have to identify what we are lacking, which may, because of this lacking, because of this lacking, this accident has happened. To prevent this accident in future, what are the risk control measures we have to take? Possible solutions to be identified, like this one. What are the possible risk control measures has to be taken to prevent the future occurrence of this accident? The action plan and its implementation. Action plan and its implementation. After the investigation has been done, some action plan has to be made to prevent the accident to be reoccurred, to prevent its reoccurrence, and it should be implemented in many ways, like training, safety awareness, and everything. We should have smart objectives. Like, see, in this we have identify the problem. First, accident has happened. Why the accident has happened, we have to identify first. Next, we have to gather the information. What has happened, how it happened, at what time it happened, when it happened, where it happened, everything. And we have to analyze. Make a decision means nothing but analyzing the information by the information you have got. And we have to plan it to read, to prevent the reoccurrence. And after that, we have to take an action, like what has to be done to prevent the reoccurrence. And based on all this, we have to evaluate after the trainings and everything to prevent that accidents and everything. What we have implemented in the site to prevent its from its reoccurrence and everything. And we have, after everything, we have to evaluate it, whether it's okay or not. It can be it's enough to prevent the reoccurrence or not. If it's not up to the mark, we have to add more safety precautions, and we have to follow other safety rules and regulations, and we have to add some more information than risk assessments and JSS and procedures and some other things. Okay, ఏమన్నా డౌట్ ఉందా దీంట్లో? Any doubts?
లేదు సార్ డాక్యుమెంట్స్ కదా సార్ మొత్తం ఇన్వెంటరీ లేదు సార్ డిస్టెన్స్ కొందాం సార్ అంతే స్పీకర్ అంతే
Okay. Pavan, Ravi, any doubts? లాస్ట్ 7 minutes ఉంది. ఏమన్నా డౌట్స్ ఉంటే అడగండి. ఎనీ డౌట్స్? సునీల్, డౌట్స్ ఏం లేవా? ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్ చెప్పి క్లోజ్ చేసుకుందాం. Gather the information. First one, దీంట్లో ఐడెంటిఫై ద ప్రాబ్లం. సెకండ్ వన్, గ్యాదర్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఇది గ్యాదర్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఎప్పుడన్నా యాక్సిడెంట్ అయినప్పుడు నార్మల్గా ఫస్ట్ మనం చేయాల్సింది ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ గ్యాదర్ చేయాల్సింది. ఫస్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు డూ ఇస్ we have to gather the information. In that, all these things are there. What activities are being carried out? Like so many accidents will be there in various types of projects and various types of work activities. In that, what exactly activity is being carried out at the time of accident? We have to gather first information. And was there anything unusual? That means, was there anything unusual means nothing but it might be the unsafe material, unsafe location, unsafe act, unsafe condition. Unsafe act and unsafe condition. Only these two can lead to an accident or incident. Unsafe act is nothing but the person, the worker who is doing the activity is performing the activity in an unsafe manner. Unsafe condition is nothing but the work location is unsafe or the material is unsafe. These are the things. Were there adequate safe working procedures? The safe working procedures is nothing but our working procedures, the company procedures which we have written. It might be the risk assessment or the work procedure, or it might be the JSA or the permit, or some documents will be there. Whether all these documents are safe to carry out the activity, we have to check. Were they being followed? We have to check this one also. Whether these whether the safety rules and regulation, working procedures, safe working procedures have been implemented while the activity is going on or not. We have to check each and everything. Was the risk known? Well, if so, why not control? See, while the work is going on, whether the worker or the person involved in the accident or incident, he is aware of the risk or not, or the hazards what are available while the work is going on, whether he is aware of these things or not. We have to know. If he knows, why he couldn't control, that should also be considered. If it's controlled, accident won't happen. But accident happen means why it shouldn't, why it's not controlled? It might be lack of knowledge or lack of something else. It might be laziness, or might be in a hurry to work fast, complete the activity or something else. Why it is not controlled? We have to gather that information also. Did the organization and the arrangement of the work influence the accident? This is nothing but the pressure from the supervisor, foreman, or the engineer, and improper arrangement of work equipment. Because to perform any activity, some work material should be there. Whether those work equipment are being provided properly, safe working equipment are provided properly or not, and whether the supervisor or the foreman or the engineer are pressuring the worker to deviate from the safety or not. We have to gather that information also. And we have to check whether the equipment is, it might be mechanical. If mechanical equipment, it is was it properly maintained or not? But was it properly uh, used or not? Was it safe to use or not? We have to check that one also. That is nothing but the seventh one, maintenance and cleaning sufficient. And was the safety equipment sufficient? Safety equipment is nothing but the PPs and so safe and some other materials like fire extinguisher or fire blanket or aprons or some other material like say PP. It might be PPs or safe equipment. Whether those are sufficient in the work location or not while performing the activity. We have to gather all these information. Okay. Anything else? 1.5 minutes ఉంది. ఈలోగా ఏమన్నా డౌట్ ఉంటే అడగండి. Pavan, your camera is not working, Pavan. No, sorry, your mic is not working. You're trying to speak, but you couldn't speak. What happened, Pavan? పవన్ ఓకేనా?
ఓకే సార్, ఓకే సార్.
అర్థమవుతుందా? డౌట్ ఏమన్నా ఉందా? మీరేం డౌట్లు అడగకపోయి సార్ నా డౌట్ వస్తుంది.
లేదు సార్, అంటే ఈ రోజు నుంచే వెళ్తున్నాం. మొన్నటి వరకు కంపెనీలో ఆడిట్ జరిగింది అనమాట.
ఓకే ఓకే. సేఫ్టీ ఆడిటా లేకపోతే వేరే క్వాలిటీ?
ఎఫ్డిఏ.
అంటే థర్డ్ పార్టీ ఆడిటా?
యుఎస్ వాడు వచ్చాడు సార్.
ఓకే ఓకే. మీదే కంపెనీ?
హెట్రో సార్, హెట్రో.
ఓకే.
అందుకే మొన్న వాటర్ సేఫ్టీ గురించి అడిగా సార్.
పౌడర్ సేఫ్టీ గురించా? ఓకే ఓకే.
మనకి డ్రగ్స్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ లో కొంచెం బాగా ఇంపార్టెంట్ కదా సార్ అది.
అవి ఇంపార్టెంట్. డ్రగ్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ లో పౌడర్ సేఫ్టీ గురించి అడుగుతారు, అన్ని అడుగుతారు. ఈవెన్ పాలసీలో మీకున్న ఇవి కూడా అడుగుతారు పవన్. థర్డ్ పార్టీ ఇవి వస్తారు చూసారా మీకు ఆడిటింగ్ కి, ఎంప్లాయీ నుంచో పెట్టి మీ పాలసీలో ఉన్న పాయింట్స్ లో ఒక 3 పాయింట్స్ చెప్పండి అని అడుగుతారు. ఎందుకంటే మేము చూసాం బ్యూరో వర్టస్ పేరు విన్నారు కదా, బ్యూరో వర్టస్ వాళ్ళు అడిగారు మరి.